I'm just going to spend 2 nights on the Walton Backwaters. Came onto the boat at about 9 o'clock on a Sunday evening, and I've moved it halfway down the river to Ramsholt. So I'm going to leave the hatch open so I wake up early in the morning and then get out through the bar and head south to the Walton Backwaters. So I've got a couple of days on the boat, which should be lovely. It's supposed to be quite nice weather tomorrow. Very quiet spot here.
If you look at many corporate training exercises now, you kind of almost bring back the kind of physicality into the workplace as stimulated. So deliberate making work more physical, I could imagine being a major trend in the next 20 years of work. If some of the work has gone out.
It's a bit murky, and the wind behind me if you're going in the right direction, so that'll be great. Have a cup of coffee and then head off. I'm in 7 metres of water at the moment, so I'm going to come across to the side of the river to get out of the tide to about 1.5 metres and then sneak along the shore. .7 metres now. There are a few other early risers up. It's the second yacht to come past. Been going for half an hour, so here I am on the river. My plan is to come down here through the bar and up into the Walton Backwaters, or maybe the Stour, which is quite a nice river too. Don't know. Comes some sunshine and some rain. Come on, sun. The ebb has now set in, so I've got the tide with me. And here is a dinghy cruiser. You hero, mate. This spreading shape of flat water on the corner here. There's not much of a breeze. I mean, the tide is now ebbing a bit, probably giving me half a knot. Come on, you. And this is the ski zone. I'm right in the middle of the ski zone, so this is the place where the motor skiers roar up and down all weekend. It's 7 o'clock on Monday morning, so none of them are out. I'm sure that it feels great water skiing, but other people and the environment pays the price. Coming through here, I'm doing no harm at all. I mean, you know, zero impact on the environment. But water skiers, they're always making a noise. Got 3.7 metres. 3.9 metres underneath me. Boat's deciding it wants to round up. You can just feel the river kind of taking control of the boat. I haven't got the plate down. I suppose she'd self-steer more easily if she's got some direction there. There you go. I am literally going to come out here and let the wind decide which way I'm going to go. I assume it's in the kind of north-west today, and tomorrow it'll be in the southerly, so it'd be stupid to motor up to my favourite river, which is the Butley. So I'm going to reach, I think, down through the busyness of Felixstowe docks, and then to the peace and tranquility of the Walton Backwaters, where I hope to do some rowing. It's not mountains here, but it's a wide landscape. You can see a lot. How about a 360? Okay, so this is coming up towards Felixstowe Ferry. 7:30 on a Monday morning. Now you see, a Scotsman would look at that and go, that is dull. But actually, it's not dull. I think it's going to rain. And when the man said it wasn't going to rain. Okay, so there's a lot more reach in this sail now. Wind has come more or less on the beam. So right now I'm in 1.7 metres of water. I'm sailing close, and I like sailing close to the edge. The shapes are more interesting. I'm losing a bit of tide, but that's alright, there's not much tide. And the boat is just tickling along beautifully. Beautifully. Well, it doesn't come better than this. This sky is fantastic. It is just shaping up beautifully. The East Anglian landscape is as close to art as you can get. It's kind of, it's the real world, but it is abstract. Mountain's not an abstract thing to me, but this is a land of abstracts. Tones and the layers, to see the weather in action, and the light on the water. Fantastic. They're ahead of the first moorings in Felixstowe Ferry. By the time I go out through the bar, it should be slushing underneath me pretty nicely. So, it should be a piece of cake. Should be loads of water. It's just, I don't really, I've not much of an idea as to where the channel goes, but hopefully somebody else will be leaving. because of course the chart plotter is historical data as far as us East Anglians are concerned, because stuff moves around. Not like Scotland, where it pretty much stays where it is. So you'll see the tide start to build as I come down. All this water squeezes through a fairly narrow bit of land. The highland for East Anglia anyway, comes down to the very edge of the water. So the channel is squeezed through a narrow gap. In the middle here is horse sand. They're always called horse sands, and they're right in the middle of an estuary. Quite often the stream splits either side, and you get this bank in the middle. And you can see there's a line of moorings down that side, and there's a line of moorings down that side. But in the middle is this shallow bit, which I have hit. The stream is picking up speed now. There's a great pair of Martello towers guarding the entrance to the Deben. 2 towers, each of which would have a big gun on it. Didn't need to be manned all the time, but in moments of emergency there'd be blokes in there, and they could keep anything out of this river for as long as necessary. Very hard to take from the land, impossible to destroy from the sea. Fantastic piece of architecture. Nicked off the Spaniards, hence the Spanish sounding name. 5.5 metres. Oh, it's sand here. Huh. Tantrum. Oh, tantrum, okay. Oh, Nimbus 3000. Wow. There's the thing. There's a nice little boat here. Look at that. Boy, that must be a hard one to get on and off when the tide's running hard. I'm going to flip over to the other side of the river, just for the fun of it. Fife motor sailor there, come down from Scotland. Felixstowe Ferry Sailing Club. There's the bar, almost completely submerged. There was a big gun right in the middle, so it could fire all round, and they would like to put pairs of them so that they could protect each other. So if one of them came under land assault, the other one could be firing very accurate shot at the blokes assaulting it. Very, very hard things to take. The round bit means that the shots that hit it, you have to hit it right in the middle, otherwise the shots just bounce off. So your gunnery has to be deadly accurate, frighteningly accurate. I'm going to lengthen the painter on the dinghy. I think the dinghy's better off at least a boat length behind the mothership, so I'm going to let that off even more. I'm sailing out of here, but I did fire up the engine just to make sure that the engine's warm. I didn't put it in gear. I'm hoping to do the whole trip without the engine. So this is one of the reasons why it's frightening, is because along one side are rocks, and along this side, it's quite benign today, but when the wind's any northerly in it, is raging seas. You can see that the first bits of the bar are starting to emerge. They've been colonised by the lions of the sea world. They rule the roost. The gulls, they're the first to take the land. Later on the oyster catchers will come in. See that if there are waves kicking off this bar here, then this bit could get really rough and unpleasant, and it would also be bouncing off this shingle. It's the second martello. The food here is so easy for the birds. The food comes to them, they just hang around. So the gulls take this piece of land, there'll be all sorts of crud coming down river, which they will just grab as it comes past. So even on such a benign day, it's kicking up a bit of a fat. So we've been going for about, it's half an hour since we left the bar. Oh look, there you go. Art. If that's not art, I don't know what is. People abroad see our beach huts and they go, why? Well, they are a very English thing. We love swimming, always have loved swimming, sea swimming. We are guard our modestly carefully, so we don't want to be seen, you know, continentals are quite happy to be seen on the beach changing clothes. We don't like it. We love a cup of tea. And it's rainy and windy, so after a swim you want to warm up with a cup of tea and changing under good conditions. And they get to know their bit of beach. I preferred this little bit of real estate though. The sea is winning here.
Felixstowe was nothing until the railway got here in 1877. Then it suddenly became both fashionable and discreet. The rich and famous came to fornicate and scheme. Being at the end of the Great Eastern, it was easy to get here from London, but everyone came by train, so it was a very secure place for royals and bigwigs to play in comparative safety. Security was easy. The garrison at the end of the point was the cherry on the cake and was also a reassuring presence at a time when Bolsheviks and other sundry anarchists had started taking pops at the big cheeses. Felixstowe was the Davos of its time. Our royal family, all Germans of course, cavorted and screwed the real German royals, mostly their cousins. But when photography was invented, being discreet got that bit harder, so the toffs abandoned the place. It's been downhill ever since, mostly caravans and retirees at the moment.
Might just try jibing away a little bit.
The coast is shallow here, so the pier was once long enough to have its own railway to ferry steamer passengers from the deep water pierhead to the town and all its risque delights. During the recent unpleasantness with the Germans, the army blew up the end to stop Jerry using it as a landing place. They promised to put it back after hostilities had ended, but they weren't telling the truth. I can remember when the pier had a proper funfair on it with a wooden clanky roller coaster, waltzers that went fast enough to make you vomit and dodgems that sparked noisily. Now the pier houses just a shed for slot machines.
Snooker club with a view. Wow. family amusements. Fish and chips, cream shake. Okay. Slush. Sands Diner. I guess I passed 300 beach huts, don't know. Interesting pair of beach huts. One has got rust stains running down the door and the other one's been painted pink and green. Stranded cat. So, Felixstowe as a resort is petering out now. It'll now become a completely functional place as you watch as we come round the corner and it turns into a dockyard. It is a quite amazing transformation. Dutch landed here once. We whooped their asses, sent them back where they came from. Stick that in your pipe, De Vita. So here we have the National Coast Watch. Amateurs, volunteers who volunteer to stand up there to man that place. During daylight hours anyway. So they're probably writing down my sail number and saying what went past. Is that a bad thing? No worse than a CCTV, is it? Beach anglers. Get cod coming past here apparently. So in a few moments, Felixstowe goes from genteel 30s seaside Bohemia to commerce, industry, consumerism. Marvellous. Amazing bits of gear. I aim to drop the anchor somewhere where I can't hear it tonight, so.
Felixstowe is dominated by the docks. Big machines and a few tiny men managing the movement of millions of tons of cargo.
Harwich, which had a glorious past, you can see by the buildings, doesn't anymore. That's been like that since I was here last time, 6 years ago, and it's been killed by that.
Once a mighty port of the east coast, it was a brilliant place where cargo could be moved from sailing ships to sailing barges, which could penetrate 15 or 20 miles inland. The place was a Royal Navy dockyard from the 1650s onwards. Big, impressive church. Seamen take God seriously. But they used to say that Harwich had more pubs than church, chapel, brothels and shops combined. The navy, the shipwrights, the dockers, the merchant sailors were all here. Well-paid young men thronged the narrow streets. Harwich had way too much testosterone and money for its own good. In 1850, the railway got here, a full 20 years before it got to Felixstowe, poor little village across the water. The railway made Harwich grow even faster. The arrival of steamers big enough to cross the North Sea meant that scheduled ferry services could be run to Holland. Continental travel became just a case of booking it and turning up on time. Then the navy left. The containers went across the way to Felixstowe, and Harwich started to slowly die, while Felixstowe started to rise. All that Harwich has left is the twice-daily Hook of Holland Ro-Ro. Then it's down to the Stour, a lovely little estuary.
I'm about 2 miles up the Stour, or Stour. People disagree about how to pronounce it.
This is the Royal Hospital School. We played rugby, cricket and raced dinghies against them. It's a school for the sons of the Navy. They used to have to wear white sailors' hats and also had to pass HQ at the double. We found them to be immensely entertaining blokes. Crap sailors, though.
It's Stone Point and Rabness Point. I think this is Stone Point. And down here is Rabness Point. You can see these little huts need a lot of maintenance. So I've come as far up the Stour as I want to, and now I'm going to bite the bullet and motor back so that I can then drift into the Walton Backwaters for tonight. So I'll be in the Walton Backwaters with low tide and the dinghy. So that's my plan, is to row around a bit at low tide. Okay. Got to run the engine for about 2 hours now though, which will be bollocks. Kirby Creek. No anchoring, no fishing, several orders. Don't quite know what several orders means, but there you go. There you go. So basically, they don't want you to anchor there. But around the corner is Landsmere Creek, where I am allowed to anchor. So I'm going to drop my hook deep in the backwaters here. There's a spot here that's 5 meters deep, so I shall stay afloat all night. So I'm going to drop the hook here somewhere.